Hey, everybody. Tonight is a great night. I'm not sure what podcast we're on. It doesn't really matter. However, we have Dan Reeves with us tonight. Thank
Welcome.
Well, here, because I'm really interested in this. I've been around 12-step programs all my life, and I'm kind of turned off of them after the amount of years. I
Are
believe,
you? Huh? Interesting.
well, for me, I believe they can
I
work
get
on,
it though. I understand.
I believe they can work on your drink problem, but I had to go elsewhere, but then you get told then you get shamed. Like I'm one of the guys that got shamed for taking antidepressants.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then in my therapy took me to the magic mushroom section and then guys want to shame me on that. I'm like, have you ever read about Bill Wilson?
Yeah, man. And I got shamed for relapsing
Yeah,
and that kind of thing, or
100%.
not be able to, be adhere to the program perfectly. And then, but you know what? I'm in a traditional bow hunting club, and they kind of want to throw shame at you, whether if you shoot three fingers under or split finger. Uh, and I'm in a lot of groups that want to put these dividing lines
I
in about
know.
whether do you fit, and it's really a bunch of baloney,
I
man.
know.
It's like we're all just trying to be better and trying to make our way through again. My word, and I feel like I made it up, but sometimes I don't know that I did. This trip on this big blue marble, and we're just trying to make us our way through it the best that
Yeah.
we can. And we slip up and we fall and we get back up again and we shoot split fingers and we shoot three fingers under and we relapse and we use some mushrooms to try to get better. And and God dang, are we going to judge one another?
Yes, yeah.
Why can't we just support one another? Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, I get if you're face down on Main and Hastings. Well, you probably don't know where Main and Hastings is,
I
but
West,
get it though. I
right?
understand what you're
yeah,
saying.
if you're down there, support you to get up. And it's like even my buddy that he's religious, and his buddy said something about supporting somebody about religion, and I'm like, I support people where they are to bring
Right,
them up.
man. Yeah.
'Cause if you don't support them where they are, how can they decide where they want to be?
Yeah, we put these lines down, and it seems to be a human nature thing or
Yeah.
something, that we tend to seem to need to do that. But I love to meet people like you that are expressing a different thing because that's right here. Spiritual Underground podcast.
Yeah.
Spiritual Underground is the name of my men's home group,
Ah.
and that's how this podcast began. And I will quote my friend who is a lawyer, and I won't tell you his name, but he was instrumental in starting this, and we got it going 7 years ago. And he said, "I don't have time for this shit." And I understand he's trying to get his law practice back, and he hit bottom, and he's trying to grow himself back, and he didn't have time to do a podcast. But there was something in me that wanted to continue to do it. And the men that are in my group, we have people that are alcoholics, people who are not, people who are just trying to be a better man. My favorite saying is, and pardon me, but I'm very man oriented because I know that's the arena I work in, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I can't really help the females, but I can help the males.
100%.
And we just say, men helping men be better men.
I like it. So
And
where
that's
did
what
where did underground? How did that come apart?
it was in the meeting started in a basement of
There
somebody's
you go.
house. I mean, it's pretty simple. You like to go, whoa. No, that's not it. It was in the basement of somebody's house that where the meeting started, so they called it the spiritual underground. And and I know that a lot of people are, I'm 7 years into this podcast.
Wow.
Nice.
Great.
And 356 60 something episodes. And I just kind of do this by the hair of my chin. I, I'm I'm not. I don't make a dime. I've
Yeah.
never tried to.
Yeah.
I've got to talk to a lot of very cool people from throughout this world, throughout the world, really,
Yeah, that's what we're
on
discovering.
people who are trying to shine their light, who have no other purpose but to try to uh, light their lantern and shine it at people. And if they want it, here it is. If you don't, that's cool too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was your purpose kind of like our purpose, just to inspire the world and kind of let the world share stories and know what's out there for help? Like, because our world's struggling in a mean way,
Amen. Yeah.
and it breaks my heart. I mean, I struggled for years, and now I'm not struggling. I know what I'm doing. I know my path, and I know my passion, and my passion is to help people.
Right.
And we're in
Yep.
a position where we can do it, where we don't need a lot of money. We don't need any money for it either. So it's like, and that's the purpose of the podcast. And in fact, actually, we're just got approached by a radio station in
All
Kamloops,
right.
BC, where we may be going on air for an hour. So we're going to have to watch the F bombs.
Few of
But
those.
yeah,
Yeah, because and that's the other thing. I can reel that in,
yeah,
and I can also talk to you like you're my brother over in the corner, right?
yeah.
I can, I can be real too, and over my other shoulder is a podcast called the I Am On Two podcast, and I didn't really look at my camera because, gosh, life just I what I don't like, and I have a meme that I wrote that said, and I didn't write it, I stole it from somebody else. Let's quit telling everybody how busy we are.
Yeah.
Because when you talk to somebody and say what you been up to, they go, "Man, I'm busy. I'm busy. I've been busy." And I would prefer to say that I have a very full life.
Yeah.
My life is
I
full.
like that.
Us too. We were talking about that the other day, and a lot of people say to us, like, oh my gosh, like you guys are everywhere all the time, busy, busy. And we do. We have a very amazing life. And we get to work through challenges and we get to work through new things that we've never done before. And like
Yeah.
building a house in Thailand with people who only speak Thai, like stuff like this that we take on. And other people look at us like I think we're like adventurous and
Yeah, I refuse to work. I tried to veer away from the word busy today.
yeah,
I have a full life.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
I get to do a lot of different things. And sometimes that crashes into one another, right? Where I'm having to decide what I'm gonna do today, tomorrow, whatever. Uh, and we got sidetracked. Thailand. So I worked for a place for 28 years, and we had an office in Thailand, and I got to
Hmm,
spend quite a bit of time in Bangkok and go over there and travel with people. And they laid me off in 2019 after working there. I worked there for 24 years sober or
Wow.
drunk. I worked there for 24 years drunk, addict, just a mess. But I was still somehow able to like create value for them.
yeah.
And then I got sober, and 4 years later, they laid me off.
That's almost comical.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I got my shit together, and they said, bye.
Yeah.
And just here back in March, a guy called me and he knew I had a great deal of knowledge in their department. 28 years, you learn something. And he
Yeah.
he asked me if I'd come back on a part-time basis. So I'm back.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And this is recovery stuff. And I like to hang it on 12-step recovery, but I'm not sure that's really what it is. That's what I'll hang it on. Uh, but they're paying me full-time pay to come back and work for them part-time.
Good.
That
And you're like, and this is something we talked about the other night. A guy who's 5 months sober in our home group at the Spiritual Underground the other night talked about the turnaround that his life has, what he's had happened in his life over 5 months. Now, I hesitate to ask each one of you how old you are and how, if you would think back to 5 months ago, how much of a drop in the bucket that was, right? 5 months ago.
We
This
did a
is what,
lot in five
We've
August?
months.
we've
This is five. That was March. Think about how much of
we've
a drop in the
experienced
bucket
life in
March to
5 months.
now was.
Yeah.
We've experienced life in 5 months.
And this guy has had a complete turnaround, man. His
Yeah.
life was crashing and burning in March. And now he is coming in giving a lead at our meeting. Not just sitting there. He is actually presenting a lead
Hmm.
and saying, this group has changed my entire life. I'm a completely different man
Hmm.
as a result of meeting you fellows. And I want you guys to come up here tonight and talk about how it's changed your life too. And that march of dudes, and I got to go up there too, because, you know, in 2014, late 2014, I walked up in front of that group and I said, and I didn't want to tell them. But the fact of the matter was, I've been caught burglarizing houses for pain pills.
Hmm.
And the judge down here in New Albany, Indiana, had told me I was going to go to prison for 6 to 20 years,
Ouch.
right? Those are the kind of bottoms we land at,
Oh,
right?
oh
When we
yeah.
do what we do. And today I can look back at it, at that point, it was the worst thing that could ever happen to a guy like me, right? I'm I'm just fresh off a divorce. I got a couple kids. I've been married for 18, 17 years at this point, and she divorced me. And here I am all on my own, and I'm standing in front of a judge that's going to tell me that. And this group of 12-step dudes said, "Hey, we can help you.
Hmm.
Come with us. If you will
What?
walk our path, man, if you will walk." And a guy come in and he took me by my hand, and I didn't spend a day in jail. And since that day, this has been my purpose, to
So,
help people get sober and to find a new way to do things.
so what do you believe then in this men's group is the attractor, or is it that the you or a select group of men is really showing up authentically? Like what is it about it?
That's a really good question. I believe in some kind of universal power out there that helps us when we get our compass needle pointed in the direction that it's supposed to be. Uh, yeah, I'm also, since then I've become a registered yoga teacher,
So
and,
you're
and some
grounded.
other weird things that have happened that, in 2014, if you said, Dan, someday you're going to be a yoga teacher, I'd have punched you in the jaw.
I get it. I get
I
it
said, are you
100%.
calling me a sissy or what?
Yeah.
Uh, but but they taught me this concept of my true north, and I like that. And because frankly, back in 2014, my compass needle was just spinning around the dial. I was lost. Uh, you know, I had a lot going for me at the same time, but I was still lost. And yoga, 12 steps, this kind of stuff got my compass needle pointed in a direction. And you feel that flow, like when you start going in a direction and no longer swimming upstream. Uh, and that's what I offer these men that come in today. I don't know where their compass needle is supposed to be pointing. I won't begin
That's the
to
best.
think that, right?
That's the best thing that
But
I've
I will
heard
help
anybody
you
say.
understand, I will
Yeah.
guide you and help you figure out what that is. And time and time again, and the guy that gave the lead last night, Austin, and I told him, I got up and stood up in front of there and said, "Man, I get a chance to do this podcast and I brag on you men in my podcast every week." I do. I get a chance to brag on these men that I get to be a part of because they're demonstrating to me the same thing was demonstrated to me back then
Yeah.
about how to find that and get into a direction that works for you. and we're not all the same.
No,
No.
100%. We're not all the same.
That totally,
It's
go ahead.
like we just went to this big, it's Sober Rider pig roast. It stems from this Sober Rider AA meeting. And 5 years ago, at what am I now, 22? So 17 years sober, I won't say ostracized, but I was the black sheep of black sheep. And I go there this week, and there's a lady there that I've known for like 25-ish years. And we're sitting there, and she looks at Lisa and like, I don't even know who this man is anymore.
Mm.
And that's by getting into the game and learn. And finally, I spent years and years, people would just tell me, just do the steps again. You just didn't do the steps right. Go to meetings. And don't get me wrong, all that works because I wouldn't be sitting here if it didn't work. I'm not saying it didn't work. However, I had to go deal with my trauma, and I had to go deal with my
Yeah.
ADHD. And since then, it's like sometimes I don't even, sometimes it's like, are you full of it? Like you don't even know who you are anymore. Well, I do because I know the direction I'm going. If
Yeah, I
that,
got a lot of problem with that, and our home group is a pretty solid bunch of dudes, but I know here, in Louisville, Kentucky, we have a unbelievable 12-step community,
hmm
but it's still sick.
yeah. Well, it's because it's all fit.
And and people think you ain't doing it right
Yeah.
and this stuff and it's just difficult for me to swallow.
Can I bring
Yeah.
up something? I'm not an AA member. I'm a supporter, a supporter of my husband. However, I've attended a handful of meetings, and maybe you can delve into this for me. Putting up your hand or offering to contribute and saying your name and saying, I am an alcoholic. What does that truly mean to you when you get up and say that one sentence?
Huh. That's a really big question. None of this stuff is cut and dry, right? One thing I like to tell my new people is, what's your favorite sports team?
You're asking us?
Asking us.
Yes, I'm asking you.
I would
Oh,
say Boston. Boston
Boston,
Bruins.
the
The hockey
Bruins.
team.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And who is their biggest rival?
Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
All right. So the Boston, no, let's flip it. The Montreal Canadiens ask you to come sit on the bench with them during a ball game. Okay?
Hockey
Hockey.
game.
Hockey game.
Hockey.
The hockey, okay, right? And
Yeah.
the Boston Bruins is really your team, okay, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
Because I usually flip back here in the States, it's usually baseball, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but or some other sport,
Yeah.
not hockey. Rarely is hockey, so I'm having to kind of do a little mental switch. But uh, so, what uniform would you wear when you went and sit on your opposite team's bench?
Oh, it would
Their
have
jersey.
no. It would have to be Boston.
Would you wear their opposite team's fucking
100%.
uniform? Pardon me.
Oh yeah.
See, you're like me too, but see, that's not the way AA works, and that's not
I,
what the way this works.
that's why I
This
don't
works
sit
and
there.
says, "Hey, man, I am sitting on your bench, and I'm on your team tonight,
Yeah.
right? You haven't made any ultimate allegiance that forever I'm a Boston Bruins fan, and now I'm a little screwed up on which one you said was allegiance,
Yeah.
but you get my point,
Yeah. I
right?
get your point.
If
Yeah.
you get to sit on their bench, I'm gonna wear the home team's jersey personally, and that's a little bit of AA. You know what?
Yeah.
When I walk into AA, I'm gonna say, "Hey guys, I'm on your team. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna be the dude who is like on the other team and walk into your dugout or your bench and say, I'm different than you. See, you guys don't understand." And that's a little of AA to me. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes I have to sit down on your bench and go, okay, guys, I'm on your team. And that's not always, right?
No.
That's I'm not saying that we always have to fall in to everybody's deal, but when you're trying to find your way through recovery in the very beginning, I think that's a good start. I think it's a good
100%.
thing where you go, "Hey, man, okay, I'm on your team, and I'm willing to listen to you because you know she is not one, and you are one, from my understanding." And at some point, you remember entering into some program of recovery, whatever it is, some point
Yeah.
where you hit a bottom and everything in your body was wanting to fight
Mm-hmm.
to hear what these men were telling you would help you. And you
100%.
had to go, you know what? I'm going to take off that jersey. I'm going to put your jersey on. I'm going to listen for a little bit. See what you can offer me. Does that make
100%.
sense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that totally does.
That's what I
Because
did. Like I remember when I came back 22 years ago, it was like I really didn't think it would work for me. And when I got asked to
Yeah.
stay, that's what I got up and asked or said every time. This crap just won't work for me. I've been here for 20 years already. And however,
Yeah.
somewhere in there, I realized I needed to conform.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I conformed for a lot of years. And
Doesn't mean that that has to be, that's the other thing, we have this deal where we think like, okay, I'm gonna sell out today and that's my forever.
yeah,
yes,
100%.
That's not
okay.
Yeah,
necessarily the deal either. You know, but you got to get over that hump because otherwise you're gonna die.
yeah,
And I watch people over and over and over again, and you have too.
tons.
And you know what? I don't care what it takes. Uh, we gotta save these people's lives, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's kids involved, these parents that have children, and there's all this going on, man. And I gotta have some flexibility in my, I gotta have some, okay, what do I need to do next to best help that guy or that gal? And that don't come easy.
No.
Mm.
But it does come with bending over first and getting into the groove, and learning it and getting some good teachers around you so that you can be the man or the woman who is able to say, okay, this ain't working for Joe. Let's try something different. Because it's not. And I have an unfair advantage. I have a sponsor who is 41 years sober, who has been in the business and of uh, he is a counselor in the chemical dependency neighborhood, and he's been doing that for 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you learn some shit when
Oh, yeah, definitely.
when you're in there, you get to learn some stuff, and I've been able to sit at the foot of some masters. Really, I have.
Mm-hmm.
I've got another really good guy. I like to talk about him. His good name is Scott Lee. There's a million speaker tapes out on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 15 years ago, Scott Lee started talking to me through the internet. And some friend shared him with me, right? But he's talking on my frequency and I'm hearing what he's saying. And today I'm his friend. And I
Sweet.
helped him set up a YouTube channel just not long ago.
Oh,
And he's coming up here and I go down to visit him and he's coming up here to go fishing with me in a month or so. And these things that happen where I get to learn from Scott, and I get to and he is a beautiful human being that understands that love is what this is all about. His
yeah.
book is Life is a School, Love is the Lesson.
Oh my goodness, right up my alley.
That's right up
Yeah,
Rich's
I'll
alley.
share it with you. He's written a bunch of books. He's just, and through 12-step recovery, I've been able to get in cahoots with some folks that know how to do life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't. these men and women are getting to teach me how to be of value, how to help others, how to be a man who can. Uh, I found my purpose. My purpose is to help people get sober. Shoot, that's even kind of funny because I have a sponsee right now. It's not even alcoholic. He's just suffering. And me and him seem to be able to use the same tools that I use to help guys get sober,
But is
Mhm.
it, but
just to be better.
you say that, right? However, is he somebody that just didn't pick up that has like I look at my mom.
Yeah, I don't
I
know, man.
I look at my mom. She's hardly ever drinking in her life, but she's
Whoa.
yeah, it's like whoa, and that's all I'm gonna say. And it's like I I sometimes think even myself, it's like with some of the research I've done about trauma and ADHD, it's like 75% of the people in both categories medicate themselves with drugs and alcohol. So are they really an alcoholic or are they somebody that's medicating a predecessing disease?
Yeah, I get it, man.
And then like
And
me
you know,
being in
is
it
it
like
my job to draw that line, right?
yeah,
My job is to help.
that's
Yeah.
exactly where what I'm going at
Uh,
with
uh,
this. It's
and your mom is a, oh, sorry. Your mom's a damn hard person for you to help.
oh, I know I can't. I yeah.
But maybe you can. Who knows, right?
He
So
is in
you try to
different
be
ways.
that example and you try to be
Yeah.
the man who looks like somebody who might be able to help her,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I can tell that's what you're doing,
Yeah.
you know.
He's brought together like her children through his actions. So that's part of that healing that's been going on. So to stop that generational hurt.
I went 35 years without talking to my brother.
Oh wow.
He called me 2 weeks ago asking me for advice.
Nice. I
Like,
love that.
oh, me too. And it's like on the first conversation with him on the phone, he goes, "We stood no chance. Mom just pitted us against each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're coming together now and it's
Yeah.
cool." Like I
Having real conversations and
in,
working through
in
that.
fact, when he hung up the phone the other day, he goes, "I love you."
Nice.
And
I
this
love
is
it.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that is what happens when we do the things we're doing. And I wrap it around 12-step recovery, but that's a little bit of a tight boundary.
Yeah.
That's not really, that's just where I see it.
Hmm.
It's what we're doing when we're beginning to bring people back together. And, do we need to put a label on it? Like it's this, it's 12-step recovery. It's this or it's that or it's this. No, it don't fucking matter. Pardon my
No.
French.
The human
And
journey.
It's the human
and
journey.
you
I
know,
just
I
show up
was
now.
I have for whatever reason, God has allowed me, and I say that freely, I don't know what I believe that God is, but I use the word freely because I've let loose of my old stuff and I just say God. So God's allowed me to have his men's retreat at a place out in the country that I have. It's 50 miles away from town. There's no cell service, and every spring I invite 20 to 30 men out there, and we go out there and we do recovery. And again, it's men helping men be better men. That's what it is.
Hmm.
And guys won't know how to get there, right? Because we're out in the boonies, and I'll take the mule and go up to the top of the hill to touch base with the folks that ain't showed up yet. Where you at? And I get a text from my sister-in-law that says, and my brothers drank along with me all along, but when I got sober, that wasn't something that he wanted to go along with. And his sister-in-law says, "Hey, I got a voicemail. Hey, me and Neil went to our first day meeting tonight. We're getting sober."
There
Woohoo!
you go.
That,
Yeah, I want to cry, man.
oh, I know.
I'm up on top of this hill. I didn't have anything to do with it. Only thing I did was be a sober dude,
Yep.
right?
So you did
I
have
didn't
something to do
push it
with
on him. I didn't tell him he should do that. You need to get so. it didn't have anything to do with me, man. But I got 30 men down at my place doing a sober recovery event. And I go up top of the hill, and that's the message I get.
That's
And that's the kind
powerful.
of stuff that over and over again I continue to get. And what I like to say, the evidence piles up so deep
Hmm.
that I can't, I can no longer say that's bullshit.
Yeah.
My brother, these other men, this other stuff, my job I have today that pays me way more than I think I'm worth. Uh, all this stuff piles up, and the evidence becomes so tall that I finally had to say, you know what? This is real. This is not bullshit. This is,
Yeah.
and I get to testify to other people to that effect. And then I get to watch it happen for them too.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been watching a buddy of mine grow for the last few years, and he kind of bit in when I was at a meeting and I shared my story and I like about what I told you, how I kept getting told I was doing the steps wrong and I struggled and I did them again and I finally I gave up and then I ended up looking outside and I said, so I'm a guy that struggled around here and has read this book. And I tapped the book in front of me and I said, but if you're really struggling and you've done all the work and you've done it again and you're really struggling, search outside. And he actually heard me and he went outside and started searching. And his life is amazing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't know, there's some basic thing. It seems like life is a struggle. It is.
Yeah.
And our job is to work our way through that and rise above and find our own footing. And those of us like you all and me, we find that spot. And then our next job is to help those other folks to the best that we can uh, rise up to that too. And it's Joseph Campbell. You know, no, Google Finding Joe.
Finding Joe. Okay.
You know how you were saying life's a struggle? It's like a friend of
And
mine.
it is. It seems it's a bitch,
I
man.
know a
It's
friend of
hard.
mine calls me the other day and he going, I'm going through a really hard time. And I'm like, well, who's telling you you're going through a hard time? And he was like, and
Perspective.
then I had to keep asking him that and finally went, I'm telling myself I'm having a hard time. And I said, well, stop telling yourself you're having a hard time.
But sometimes it's a hard time.
Oh, it's,
It
oh,
really
yeah.
is,
Oh,
man.
I
I've been
know.
through divorce. How long have you two been together?
3
3 years.
years. Well,
Well,
4 years.
4 years.
Three fuck
We just,
3 years. What happened prior to that? And what is your history before
oh,
that?
my life was a train wreck,
Struggle,
a
right?
train wreck waiting to happen.
Right. You look at this, and that's the thing, man. We try to and that's another thing, man. We land where, and things are really good for Dan right now,
Yeah.
right? And I tend to land on that, right?
Yeah.
But things have not always been that easy,
No.
man. And I got to be careful when I tell the guy who lands here is talking to me where he's having a hard time that, to tell him, no, you're not having a hard time.
Oh,
Yep. God.
I didn't say he wasn't
I'm
having
not
a hard
saying
time.
that. I'm not
Yeah.
saying you said that.
And
But you,
this is a guy that he's 20 something years sober too. So he's my
I'm
buddy.
dealing with a dude right now that's been married for 20 years and his wife has booted him.
That was
And
my
I think there's actually a real fundamental issue in our relationships that direction. I'm a little bit red pilled, if you know what that means.
No.
no.
No, I'm not going to explain it to Google it. But, and this happened to me. My wife found out that she was able to make enough money that she didn't need a husband anymore. Now, at that point in time, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
But she said, poof, I don't need you anymore. I'm making enough money to not need a man. And now I'm running into a bunch of dudes whose women have done the same thing. And that's not really what it's about.
No.
What's really about is there's some fucking kids involved that need a fucking mom and, pardon me, but I am passionate about this. They need a mom and dad to raise them so they understand how to be wives and husbands
Mhm.
Yep.
so that they can carry that tradition on and do that, whether if she gets to make a lot of money or not, you
Or
know,
vice versa.
doesn't, or vice versa, right? But this thing that's going on, I have a handful of guys I work with that are going through this that stress me. It doesn't really stress
Well, you
me.
you care
Yeah.
about them. That's
I
why you
care
care
about
about
them.
them.
And I
Yeah.
see this pattern happening, and ultimately, I could give a shit
Oh, of course.
about that
Yeah.
mom and dad, honestly.
Hmm.
What I care about is those kids.
Yeah.
It was great that Dan got sober at 45 years old and his life got better.
Yep.
Pretty cool, right? But the ultimate really thing is what about those two kids Dan created?
Yep.
And
100%.
what are they experiencing through their life and their upbringing? That's what really counts.
Hmm.
And my 19-year-old daughter's a fentanyl addict.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. My 21-year-old son won't touch substances for nothing. And, what do you do about that? I don't really know.
We just do our best. And I discovered about, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that the best way that I can show up for my kids is to take care of me. Like that's part of that journey
Amen.
of
Amen.
understanding. Um, because my kids struggled. And I do know that I was married 26 years and
Wow.
I walked away because I was suffering
Mm,
emotionally and mentally suffering and not growing. And so I made the decision. And from that decision, I was able to then start to see my worth and that I was worth moving forward because I
yeah.
felt really stuck in my previous marriage. And that was teaching my kids something. And
Right.
so when I chose to move forward, it showed my children that I am worth it and that what I was doing was for me and for them.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that perspective, because I will freely admit that I have my one view window, and I do like, and that's one of the things I love about these podcasts is I get this other perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
I
know that
yeah.
what I'm saying is not necessarily a one-way street.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's many both sides and yes, it's usually the women looking for men with money. However, that was not my case at all. It was my emotional health that was suffering, and I knew I had to take on kind of the journey of growth for me. And when our paths went like that and
yeah.
weren't coming back together, that's when I had to just make a decision. That's all it came down to it for me.
And
And
me and my kid's mom have a great relationship today. And
Yeah.
I will blame that on 12-step recovery
Mm,
because I went to her and I made a heartfelt ninth step amend owning my shit. Pardon me,
yeah,
y'all can bleep me if you want to. Uh, but I went back and I did that and I owned my part in that. And then that flipped around where she was able to own her part in it too. And we come
yeah,
to a reconciliation, and then we could begin to co-parent on a level that was healthy for our children.
yeah,
And ultimately,
that's what
that's
matters.
yeah,
that's what matters, right? That is exactly what matters. And there's been some real cool stuff. Like right now, I'm in a domestic partnership with my kids ex-wife. You know why? Because she wanted to offer me health insurance because I didn't have it.
Ah,
And what a wonderful thing, right?
yeah.
That this stuff gets to turn around and be something that can be a positive. And it's positive for me, positive for her, positive vision for the kids to see that their parents are on a mission together.
Hmm.
It was
And
kind of funny. My nephew that I had only met when he was like a toddler, he struggles and he flew out to BC to live with me for a while, and I pick him up at the airport and we drive over to my former wife's house, and he's like, and I'm telling him where we're going. He's like, we don't do that. We're Burleys. We're angry about this stuff. And I'm like, so we go pick her up. We go pick up a treadmill because I needed somebody to help me carry it, right? We go out for breakfast with her and we're laughing and joking and taking her back. And he's like scratching his head the whole time, not getting it. And but that's how where I come from. And it's like, I go, it's that simple, man. We don't need to hate each other.
right, you're teaching them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And not teaching them by teaching them, you're teaching them by example,
Well,
Example.
then
by
how do you learn?
being the man and being the dude that this kid needs to see.
And that's
Yeah.
what I do with my stepkids, like Lisa's kids, is like I talk to her and I listen to her when and we haven't had tons of conversations, but the conversations we do have are real.
Yeah. And that's what I say over and over again in my podcast is that I get to introduce people to my audiences, even though this is not my podcast, of these people who are a force for good in the world. And no matter if it's a force for good in my family system, and that, we need to be that.
Hmm.
But where we're at today, we get to be a force for good in a broader system.
Yeah.
And who knows who's watching us, right?
I know.
I know, which is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
There's some,
Yeah.
and that's something I've had to let go of. I've been doing a podcast for 7 years. And honestly, the metrics are disappointing.
Yeah.
They are. They're very disappointing, and I'm not
Metrics.
making any money. And
Algorithm.
I don't
Oh,
give a shit. What I'm doing is trying to carry a message to folks, and people from Canada are coming to me, so that's telling me something, right?
hmm.
You found me, and people from Thailand are finding me, and people from New Zealand are finding me. And who cares what that little number says
I
down
know.
there in the corner of the YouTube channel? I don't care. I get to meet wonderful people like you guys.
Yes.
And we get to share our experiences and talk about the things we're doing to carry this lantern to bring light to the world.
Yeah. Absolutely
I
incredible.
got a little men's group online. I just started it in January and I'm going to take it to the next level at some point. However, all I do basically now is I put a little blurb out every day, or sometimes I miss a few days, but most of the time it's every day. And this retreat where me and Lisa met, it's it's kind of like a Tony Robbins type thing, and he was with us there, and haven't seen him or heard from him since. And he's on Facebook, and he sent a message the other day. He goes, "Thank you for putting those posts up."
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's nothing really that spectacular, but it's a lot of time it's just stuff I'm going through, stuff like this weekend I had a great epiphany. It was wild.
Mhm.
So I'm at this pig roast where I was estranged from a lot of people. So there's still some tension, right? And there's still a couple people that I didn't talk to and they didn't talk to me. And then some people that sued me show up and they lied to sue me. It was an accident, like a bike accident. And so I'm getting kind of, and
In,
I'm walking to my campsite and I'm like, just getting, and I go to myself, I'm sick of this drama stuff always in my life. And it's like, you haven't talked to anybody about this, so it's all between your ears. And it went away, just poof, gone. It was wild. It was,
it's pretty
and
cool.
Yeah,
even
You
the
get
guy
to
that,
operate, you get to operate on a different level. And
yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a weird thing, that I moved through the world on a different plane as a result of receiving some of the spiritual teachings. And what I like to say is that, this is not a religious thing, this is a spiritual thing. And
Yeah.
that spiritual thing is the spirit that
Right.
resides inside of me, this soul, this essence, this thing, whatever it is, it's like a virtual fingerprint that makes Dan Dan, and it makes you you, and it makes you you, and we get close to it, and we begin to be able to like resonate with it, and then we can run around, touch other people with it.
Yeah, like King Midas touching gold.
I think I
Yes.
know where I want to ride my Harley next year,
Where?
to the spiritual underground meeting.
Yeah, we try to make our stuff available, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Same thing with podcasts, and
Yeah.
just I know I see it in your guys' hearts. All y'all trying to do is help people be better people, and if you can have an effect on that,
Well, man, I struggled for so many, even with like after the addiction, I struggled so hard for like a couple decades before it started to, and I've watched so many people die because it's
really,
people, they say they're open-minded, but people are so closed-minded that it's got to be one way. And it's like, there's a gazillion ways to change your life.
Yeah.
yeah, and you kind of can get hung up in that, right? Like where
Yeah.
you block them because yeah, and
Oh, I don't block
I don't know.
anybody.
See,
I
my
don't,
sponsor and Scott Lee, my friends and stuff, they've allowed me this avenue that like goes, you know what? Stop that bullshit and just open up and allow them all in, man. And yeah, some of them are gonna
Bring
bunk
in our
you, some of them
co-host.
are gonna be goofy, some of them are gonna do this and do that. My job is to love every one of you, and that's a hard job.
Yeah.
especially with the guy like I was, I had so much anger in me. And people go, why are you angry? And I don't know. And it would just come up and come up and come up. And until I went to trauma therapy,
Yeah,
anything I did didn't work.
yeah. But I don't see that in you today.
No, no. It's like I feel that's why my friends, like my friend was telling her, I don't even see a person I know when I'm looking at Scott.
He was known as Angry Scott. However, when I met him, he was not that. He was
Yeah, we have people come through. I remember a guy named Angry Travis. He came to our group, and he just couldn't melt in with us. He just needed to have a problem.
That's how
yeah,
I was
see?
built.
But you're not anymore, right?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, there's a solution for everything.
And
So,
you know what? These bodies are going to melt and
yeah.
we're going to die, and I can go to whatever's next. Being some dude that held some grudge or held some barrier, whatever you want to call it, I can be that guy. But today I choose not to be, man. I want to be the guy that melts into the universe, basically. And this is a hard thing to say, loving everybody.
It is a
Yeah.
hard, it's an easier thing to say than it is to do.
To do. Yeah. That's what you get me.
I do.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I've had a great night with you both, and you, man, I don't know. I
Yeah.
just
Keep,
keep on loving to get to experience folks like you all because I always believe that the light will outlive the dark,
yeah.
It will.
and you guys are carrying light.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dan. You
Okay.
keep carrying it yourself.
Keep carrying it.
You take